Excellent. So let's go ahead and start in a comfortable seated position on the mat. We'll start with a few minutes of concentration and grounding. We'll use point in the center of the palm as a point of concentration. This is a point on the pericardial meridian. And we'll simply place our palms on top of the knees to stimulate the point rather with concentration rather than with acupressure. So relaxing the face, the neck, and the shoulders, resting the palms on top of the knees, taking a few deep breaths to in and out to connect to how the body feels. And maybe closing your eyes or softening the gaze down, begin to sense these 2 points on the left and the right palm, right in the center, and drawing imaginary line from the center of the palms through the inner arms, all the way to the point between the eyebrows, the third eye. Now bringing all of the awareness into the left palm, inhaling through the left palm into the point between the eyebrows, and exhaling from the third eye into the right palm, simply using imagination. Imagine inhaling through the right palm up to the point between the eyebrows, and exhaling down through the left palm. Inhaling through the left palm up to the point between the eyebrows. Exhaling from the third eye through the right palm. One more round, inhaling through the right palm up to the point between the eyebrows. And exhaling down through the left palm. And then taking a moment to let go of concentration. Taking another deep breath in. Exhaling to release the tension from the neck and the shoulders. And gently flipping the eyes open. And we'll start with the first pose or shape, which will be half butterfly. So we'll bend the right knee and open it out to the side with the left leg straight in front of us, comfortably pressing into the floor. And if you have your blocks or rolled towels next to you, you can keep them just handy by your side. Taking an inhale here, with exhale, folding forward, rounding the spine, relaxing the head down, and trying to find where would you like to stay. You may fold right over the straight leg, or maybe perhaps a little bit outside. So if you go slightly outwards, you may notice that an additional stretch in the lower side of the back starts to appear. So as long as it doesn't bother you, maybe stay here. Or you can always return to folding right over the straight leg. And taking a moment here to relax the head, allowing it to become heavy, and surrendering to the force of gravity to allow the upper body to relax down. Noticing the heaviness in the shoulders and both arms. And also sensing the back of the leg, the straight leg. Noticing if there's any gentle stretch. If it's too much, you can always micro-bend the knee and place a towel underneath it. try different variations with the upper body position. Once you've settled, we're halfway through the time, so by now, hopefully you found the position in which you can sense the stretch, but it's not too intense that you can't relax. And finding the moment of stillness to reconnect to the breath. Allowing the breath to move through the back side of the body, sensing the back of the leg, sensations underneath the knee and the thigh, sensing the sit bones, the whole length of the spine, back of the neck, hopefully relaxing, releasing, back of the head, lowering down with each exhale, and all the way into the corners of the eyes, imagining a long line connecting the inner corners of the eyes through the whole back side of the body into the fifth toe. And then slowly and carefully begin to roll yourself up, placing the hands behind your back, lifting the left knee and bending the right, just dropping the knees side to side to reset. Just a few movements. And then coming back to center, let's extend the left leg straight, drawing the right foot closer in and allowing the right knee to open. So the same thing on the other side. And once you're ready, just taking a breath in. With exhale, rounding the spine and folding forward. Finding position for your arms to rest, so there's no active movement. And noticing how this side feels. And again, maybe you'd like to fold inside the straight leg, right over it, or maybe slightly outwards to get that extra stretch in the side of the lower back. And take a few moments, maybe 20, 30 seconds to experiment. And then find stillness. Find that perfect shape for your body on this day, where you can concentrate and sense the back of the leg, underneath the knee and the back of the thigh, left sit bone, all the muscles in the back along the spine, tops of the shoulders, allowing the back of the neck to release a little bit more. Back of the head, the crown, and the forehead becoming heavier. And each exhale allows you to drop the upper body just a little bit closer to the ground. As we are halfway through the time, it's a good opportunity to check in with the body and decide whether you need to make any adjustment or movement. In Yin Yoga, we try to move only on 2 occasions. When the sensations are too much, and it's time to take a step back, or sensations have disappeared and the body has opened up to go a little bit deeper. And then allowing the breath to circulate between the inner corners of the eyes
up the forehead, crown of the head, back of the head, back of the neck, the whole length of the spine, through the left sit bone, back of the thigh, behind the knee and the calf, all the way to the fifth toe. With this pose, we stimulate the bladder meridian and hoping to affect the nervous system to calm it down and cope with irrational fears. Let's begin to carefully roll up. Maybe the head will come up last. And placing the hands behind you, once again, we'll do the same windshield wiper movement, bending the left knee, lifting the right knee up, and just dropping the knees side to side to release. And then from here, we'll move on to our stomach, so into a prone position. So let's go ahead and lie down on the stomach and just place the hands on top of each other and relax the forehead down. So it will be like a little resting pose between the forward fold and the back bend that is coming. So placing the forehead on the top of the hands, just for a moment, concentrate on that point between the eyebrows, the third eye, and take maybe 3 deep breaths through this point, while the back of the hands gently pressing on it. And while you are doing that, notice sensations in the legs. After stimulating the energy lines in the back of the legs, just notice if you can feel any warmth or tingling. And let's slowly begin to lift the head and chest and set up for Sphinx pose. So position the legs in any comfortable position for you. They can be a little bit wider than the hips, untucking the toes, and then placing the elbows maybe just a little bit forward, not directly underneath the shoulders. Try a little bit forward, and then allow yourself to shrug the shoulders towards the ears, making this pose really passive for just the beginning. And then we'll experiment with the position of the head. Let's try to lift the chin up and gaze up. So keeping the eyes open, lifting up the chin and the gaze, and noticing how this position makes us feel. Making sure there's no discomfort in the lower back. Just sensing the breath moving in the throat, lifting it up through the eyes. On the next exhale, bring the chin parallel to the ground in the neutral position. Gaze in front of you, soften the gaze as if you're looking at something but don't really focus your eyesight. So really soft gaze at a point in front of you. Then once again, notice how this position of the head makes you feel. Then lastly, as you exhale, allow the chin to drop all the way down towards the chest. And feel free to close your eyes in this variation. Notice how the change affects the body, but also the mind energetically. Just taking a few deep breaths here, allowing the head to be heavy. And then you can choose to stay with the head all the way down, or any of the previous positions, neutral or upwards. And if comfortable, maybe straightening the elbows to come into seal, so intensifying. Only if that feels good for the lower back and the front side of the body. If you feel like you want to be here, but it becomes a little intense, you can slightly move the hands a little bit wider or a bit further from the body. If you feel that this is not enough and you'd like to go more, bringing the hands closer in will intensify the back bend. And again, you can shrug the shoulders. You don't have to push the shoulders away from the ears as we do in active poses, in active styles of yoga. And again, the position of the head, maybe all the way up for a bit more uplifting and energizing curve, or maybe neutral, or all the way down. Last few moments here, just allowing yourself to appreciate this big opening of the front side of the body in the lower back, sensing the kidney organs just behind the navel, left and right side. Just imagining that this is like a massage for the kidneys. And with the next exhale, very slowly and carefully releasing down, lowering, slowly and carefully. Option one for the rest, you can stay in the prone position, just like we did before the pose, or you can press to child's pose with knees narrow or wide, whatever feels best. Just choose any position that will allow your body to reset and appreciate the previous pose. Noticing the sensations in the lower back and in the front of the stomach, maybe even the front of the throat, or any other sensations that come up. And slowly and carefully, let's make our way up to a seated. We'll have two poses that are a little bit energizing, so they will be quite short. So the first pose will be toe squat. So we'll lean forward, tug the toes under, and then sit the hips back onto the heels. Now, if this feels a bit too much, this is where a block can be handy. So we can sit on the block so we don't create too much pressure onto the feet. We will stay here for only 30 seconds. So if possible, try to find a variation that will serve your body. And while we are in this pose, we'll do the so-called negative breathing or purifier pranayama. We'll use the right hand to close the right nostril. You can do it with any finger. So we'll inhale through both nostrils, close the right finger, and then exhale through the left. So we'll do 3 times. And every time you inhale, imagine the negativity and tension lifting up. And every time you exhale, imagine that you exhale it out. So once you're ready, open the chest, take a deep breath in, close the right nostril, and then exhale. Release the right hand down through both nostrils. Slow, deep inhale. Closing the right nostril, exhaling through the left. One last time through both nostrils. Inhale. Closing the right through the left, all the negativity and impurities. Release the right hand. Lean forward to release your toes. maybe untuck and just a little bit shake, shake, shake. And then we'll move to the second little energizer. This will be a yin variation of camel pose. So we'll walk the hands back as far as you can, turning the fingers towards the back, so away from the body. And option one is to stay here, lifting the chest and the chin. Option two, if you feel good, lift the hips up, squeezing the buttocks. Again, just 30 seconds here, and just like in Sphinx and Seal pose, try to sense the front side of the body, and this time supported by the glutes being squeezed and tightened up. So you might feel here not just the stomach, the chest, and the throat, but also the front of the hips and the thighs activating and opening up. We have about 10 seconds left, so just 2 more full breaths. And carefully release the hips back down, walking the hands closer in and coming onto our hands and knees position. So kind of tabletop. From here, we'll go into our sleeping swan. So let's start with the right knee forward, lowering the right hip down. So if it's not quite down, you can place a towel underneath the right thigh, just to make sure that the hips are not twisted. And then once we're there, take an inhale, and with exhale, begin to slowly lower down. And again, we have option to fold forward right over the knee, maybe a little bit inside, or maybe a little bit outside. So it is up to you to choose where you'd like to stay. Maybe place the hands underneath the head or a block to make sure that the neck and the shoulders can comfortably relax down. In this position, we're stimulating the gallbladder meridian, which governs our decision making. And while we are staying in this pose, it is nice to concentrate on the side of the body where the meridian runs through. So as we started with the right side, perhaps first drawing the attention to the right outer thigh, noticing the sensations, and then exhaling to allow these sensations to soften, and then moving down the leg, noticing the right outer knee, the lower leg, the outer ankle, side of the whole right lower side of the body. And then back to the outer hip, and then sensing the side of the waist, the rib cage, and shoulder. With an exhale, noticing if we can invite a bit more softness into that right side of the rib cage and the right shoulder. Maybe sensing the right side of the neck, the face, relaxing the right eye. Noticing if there's any movement that the body needs. And then allowing the body to soften into deeper expression of the pose. Inviting the breath into that right side of the body where sensations are most intense.
allowing the exhalations to move any stagnant energy or any tightness. As you're holding this pose, notice if any emotions come up. Emotions of frustration or irritation, impatience, or maybe not an emotion but a memory of an event that caused such emotions. And then let's slowly and carefully begin to lift the upper body up, slowly, no rush, placing the hands underneath the shoulders, lifting the hips, and slowly moving the right leg back. Option 1 is again to lie down on the stomach to rest the body, or if you'd like a bit more active restoration, pressing back into downward facing dog. Noticing the difference between the right and the left side. And then carefully, with exhale, coming back to tabletop, hands and knees position. So we can switch the side. So this time, left knee forward. Readjust the position of the hips. Again, any support underneath the thigh. And then slowly begin to lower down. Then you may notice that this side may feel very different to the first one. And that's okay. So we want to find the variation that will serve this side. And just a reminder, we can be right in the middle, slightly inwards, or slightly outwards. Outside of the knee. And once we've experimented, relax the upper body more. Finding the support for the head, either on the block, floor, or the back of the hands. And with each exhale, allowing the body to sink a little bit deeper. And sometimes our decision making is affected by irrational fears or overwhelm and worry. Clouded thinking, or even the emotions of frustration and irritation. So in the previous postures, we tried to stimulate the bladder meridian to calm the nervous system,
to avoid irrational fears. And in our back bends, we try to stimulate the stomach meridian to clear the mind from worry and overwhelm, overthinking. And now we're working with the gallbladder meridian on the sides of the body to help us be calm and guided, cultivate patience whenever we need to make a decision. And it's a beautiful thing to use an affirmation in this pose. I have time. I have time to grow and develop myself. I have time to accomplish whatever I need to accomplish or I want to accomplish. I have time and patience. Checking in with the physical body to notice if it's opened up for a deeper expression or if it needs to take a step back. Either way, once the physical body has been changed or stayed in the same position, allowing yourself a few more deep breaths here. To appreciate the stillness. Very slowly and carefully begin to lift the head and shoulders up, the upper body, and preparing to transition to a restorative pose. So again, prone on the stomach or downward facing dog to reset the body after the sleeping swan or pigeon pose, allowing the knees to rest in the straight position and relaxing the head, shoulders and neck. And a couple more deep breaths wherever you are. And then carefully coming back on all four first. And this time bringing the legs forward. Bringing the legs forward in front of you. And we'll prepare for dragonfly or squat. So two variations affecting the inner thighs. So if you'd like to go for a squat, your knees will be generously bent. Just make sure you're not folding backwards. So it's comfortable for you to lean forward. And you feel the stretch in your inner thighs. Option 2, legs will be straight out. Again, if you like, you can kind of lift the meaty parts of the buttocks up to feel the sit bones on the floor, or you can press the hands to gently push the pelvis forward, just to assist in the first moment. And then from here, we'll start to slowly release the upper body down. So take your time. If you have a bolster or you'd like to create some sort of support, you can try to build up a little tower with the blocks, bolsters, or other available props. And then finding that position where the body can stay calmly, where the upper body can become heavy and affected by the gravity, sink down towards the floor. You will most probably feel sensations in your inner thighs. If they are too much, you can absolutely microbend the knees, no problem. Once you've settled, allow the body to be heavy and rest. In this position, we are affecting the liver meridian, which is a yin counterpart of the gallbladder meridian. And whilst the gallbladder is governing our decision making, the liver is more responsible for the action we take once the decision is made. So these two work together in pair and define our determination and self-development, growth. Because these meridians are so powerful and energetically wired, very intense, the tension in the outer sides of the body and the inner thighs may be accumulated as just as intensely. So holding these poses may be challenging. So going back to the breath as a tool for concentration and softening the body into deeper expressions of the pose, I would also like to offer you a little poem while you're holding this pose. It is called Walk Slowly. It only takes a reminder to breathe, a moment to be still, and just like that, something in me settles, softens, makes space for imperfection. The harsh voice of judgment drops to a whisper, and I remember again that life isn't a relay race, that we will all cross the finish line, that walking up to life is what we were born for. As many times as I forget, catch myself charging forward without even knowing where I'm going, that many times I can make the choice to stop, to breathe and be, and walk slowly into the mystery. Allowing yourself a few more deep breaths here. Maybe noticing that the body has opened up a little bit more, and inviting any sensations, feelings, and emotions that arise. Let's begin to slowly and carefully walk the hands closer to the body. You can bring the hands behind the back
to lean back and draw the legs in together, bending the knees and finding our way to lie down on our backs, maybe still keeping the legs bent in towards the chest, just hugging them, releasing the head, and maybe even rocking side to side. And then keeping the knees bent, release the arms and cross the right leg on top of the left, as if just sitting on a chair with the legs crossed, opening the arms out to the sides and allowing both knees to drop to the left. Allowing both knees to drop to the left into a twist that we called twisted roots. Yes, very nice. All the way. Readjust as much as you need to. You can keep the head neutral, facing upwards, or if it feels nicer to turn the chin towards the right shoulder, you can do that as well. Sometimes keeping the chin towards the shoulder may cause a bit of a tingling in the arm. So to avoid that, maybe just keep the face up towards the ceiling in the neutral position. Allow the right shoulder to become heavier, as if falling closer towards the ground. And just notice the sensations along the right side of the body. Expanding the breath into the right side of the rib cage. And with exhale, allowing the outer hip and both knees to relax a little bit more. And just noticing if the twist causes any changes in the breath. Allowing the breath to move smoothly. With each exhale, releasing tension along the side of the body. And then carefully coming back to center. Unwind the legs. And once again, hug them in towards the chest, rocking side to side. And then from here, making sure the back of the head rests comfortably on the floor. Open the knees wider than the chest. Catch your ankles or outer edges of the feet. And then point your feet up to the ceiling for happy baby. So catching anywhere along the shin, ankle, or outside from the pinky toe side, and then allowing the knees to sink down towards the floor outside of the rib cage. And again, happy baby can be still, or if you like, you can rock side to side. And then carefully releasing the happy baby feet, come back together, knees together, and this time left leg crosses over the right. We'll open the arms out to the sides and allow both knees to drop to the right side. Lifting the hips, twisting, noticing the middle back, Making sure that the left shoulder is not going with the knees, rather it becomes heavy and you feel the stretch maybe all the way into the front of the left side of the chest, near the shoulder. And then once you've settled, if you need, you can lower the knees a bit away from the body or bring them closer to the chest, whatever works best for your body to settle, be able to breathe comfortably, and continue to relax the legs, both knees down towards the ground, while the left shoulder blade wants to touch the floor. And once you've settled, noticing how this side feels in the twist. Noticing the breath, the twist in and around the rib cage, the movement of the stomach, and sensing the left outer hip and knee. Moving the breath into the areas that require most of your attention and allowing the exhales to soften these areas. And then slowly coming back to center. Take your time, no rush. Unwind the legs. Maybe once again squeeze them in towards the chest and rocking side to side. This time keeping the feet together, opening the knees out and allowing the feet to drop down on the floor, coming into a reclined butterfly position. If you feel there's still a lot of tension in the inner thighs, you can take the blocks and place them underneath the thighs for extra support. So the pose feels a little bit more restorative and it's easier to relax the inner thighs. And then we'll place one hand on the stomach, one hand on the chest, connecting to the breath and noticing how the body moves. On the inhale, belly and chest gently rise. And with exhale, relax down. Inhale, belly and chest softly rise. And with exhale, slowly release. Just another deep breath in. And a slow, slow exhale out. And you may choose to stay in this position, releasing the arms by your sides or placing the hands on the inner thighs or stomach, or extend the legs for Shavasana, the final restorative pose, allowing the whole body to rest and integrate the benefits of the practice. Allowing yourself a few more moments of a complete restorative position. And then once you're ready, extending the arms up overhead, giving yourself a big stretch. And then bending the knees to roll onto one side. And carefully coming out to a seated position. And taking a moment to once again place the palms, the center of the palms on top of the knees, sensing the sit bones rooting down into the floor and allowing for a natural lengthening of the spine through the crown of the head. Taking a deep breath in and exhaling out. Let's bring the hands together in front of the heart, bowing down with a sense of gratitude, and dedicating the efforts and benefits of the practice to all beings everywhere. Thank you so much for joining.